Hey guys, Scott here, and today we are looking at something we're very excited about. This is the Faux phone escape room prop. We were not very happy with the quality of the phone props that were available on the market for escape rooms, so we partnered with our friends at Dark Tech Effects to create our own. Now there are two main issues with the current phones that are available to the escape room industry. The first is the quality. The quality has been very poor. They're, for the most part, manufactured overseas. They're difficult to work with, and they tend to burn out very quickly and not last very long. The second issue is that the components of the phone are often built into the phone itself. So if the manufacturer happens to make a phone that matches your theme, that's awesome. If not, well, you're stuck with trying to retrofit whatever they have into your existing theme, which, as anybody knows, will kind of break the illusion that you're trying to create of a cohesive theme for your room. So the big innovation that we've come up with is the Faux phone here. This is a phone prop controller for escape rooms that will work with any standard touch-tone phone. As long as it uses a standard RJ11 connecting cable, like every phone that you used to have in your room as a kid that you would plug into the wall, it will work with this controller. So you're no longer married to a certain style that we've decided is the best for most cases. You can use pretty much any touch-tone phone. You can find one that looks just right for your scenario, plug it into the controller, and you're good to go. So here's the actual control unit here on the left. We have a series of terminal blocks here. The first one is something we're also very excited about, and that's the ring input. A lot of these other phones would only work if you picked them up and dialed in a number, but we've actually added a ring functionality where you can connect an external push button, and once you push that, it will cause the attached phone to ring. The next terminal block is the relay. If a player enters in the correct code as you've programmed it, that they will hear a message and then it will activate the relay, which would open a connected magnetic lock like this one, for instance. Our power is coming into the controller here, and our phone is plugged in here. So currently we have this sort of traditional office style phone connected. If we pick it up, you can hear there's a dial tone, just like a regular phone. We can also press the numbers and they will beep just like any normal phone.
That has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again.
You'll notice there when I reached a certain number of digits, I was just randomly typing them in. It played an error sound, and that's something you can configure as well, so we'll cover that in a little bit. We also have a couple different varieties of phones just to show the capability of the prop. We can plug these in and they'll just start functioning exactly as this phone does. So again, you can match your phone exactly to your theme. You don't have to be married to whatever type of phone you just found online. All right, so let's check out some of the features. As I mentioned before, there's a ring input. If we are to press the button that we have connected to the ring input, it will make the phone ring. The phone will keep ringing as long as I hold that button down. It'll stop when I let go. Another really cool feature is if the phone is answered while it's ringing, it will play a special message that you can specify in the settings for the controller. So if we're holding it down and we pick up the phone.
The third stroke, the time sponsored by Accurist, will be 10 o'clock precisely.
You'll hear there that it played our special message, went back to the dial tone, and we can hang up. Now the real core function of these phone props is to have players enter numbers, get audio clues, and then enter a final number which opens an attached magnetic lock or whatever other component you have attached to the relay. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that. We've added in like 3 key messages as part of an overall larger puzzle as an example for these. So let's go ahead and dial the first one on our first phone here. All right, so we can pick the phone up and we can dial in the number that we've programmed as one of our solutions. This one is just gonna play audio. So let's go ahead and dial 987-987-9876.
There looks to be a type of passageway between the cells. There must be some way to open it.
All right, so the phone played our audio clue. We can go ahead then and hang up the phone. All right, for our next clue, let's go ahead and use the red phone in the middle just to show you how you can easily use any style of touch-tone phone with the Faux phone controller. We're gonna just unplug the black phone here, and we're gonna take the cord from the red phone and plug it in. As you can see now, this phone has our dial tone. So this is currently the phone we'll be using, and we can go ahead and dial our next number. So for this, we've chosen the number 67890. So we can just dial 90.
Take a closer look at those chains and handcuffs. They must be there for a reason.
All right, so we have another message that's played here. We can go ahead and hang up. You'll notice that if we trigger our ring input now, it'll ring on this phone. You see the ring style changes because that's built into the functionality of the phone itself. So that way even the ring will actually match the style of phone that is best suited for your escape room. Let's go ahead and plug in the last style of phone here, and we'll dial our final clue, which will unlock our magnetic lock. So again, I'm just going to unplug the red phone here and then plug in the black phone to that RJ11 input. You can see, of course, if we trigger the ring, now this phone will be ringing. Again, the ring style changes to match the phone because it's actually ringing the internal ringer on that phone. You can notice here that this phone actually has a rotary style dial, and although the Faux phone only works with touchtone phones, most of the current rotary style kind of antique phones are actually touchtone. They just have a rotary style. So they're not using the pulses that an old rotary phone would use, they're actually using touchtone signals. So you can use a phone like this with the Faux phone controller. So let's go ahead and dial in our final number. We can pick up the phone here. You can hear the dial tone is on. And we can dial in our final number. We've programmed 6912, 6912 as the final number. So we can just dial that here.
It looks like you will have to count the chain links and enter it into the keypad to unlock the passageway. Be sure to check the handcuffs for the correct order.
All right, we can hang up. So you saw there that when our final message was entered, the correct sequence was entered, it played our message and then unlocked our magnetic lock. Now in order to configure this, you have to edit a configuration file that is on the micro SD card used in the controller. So let's go ahead and let's take that out. Let's head over to the computer. I'll kind of walk you through that configuration file and all the different options you have and settings you can change. Let's do that and we will be right back. All right, here we are over at the PC. I've inserted the micro SD card from the phone prop into the card reader on my PC, and we can go ahead and navigate to it now. So I'm going to go to File Explorer here, go to my removable disk here, and open this up. Now you'll see here that this contains a number of different audio files as well as a file called puzzle.cfg. The audio files are basically what we've loaded onto the SD card to be available to us, and the puzzle.cfg file is what's going to tell the phone puzzle what to do with those files, when to actually play them. So let's go ahead and open that up. We'll put them side by side. Alright, so let's go ahead and look through this puzzle CFG file. We'll take it one line at a time. So the first line here is just giving us an idea of what the format is for our commands. So the format consists of two components. One is the field, and then there's an equal sign, and then the value. So the first thing here is basically what are we trying to do, like what are we controlling, and the equal sign then leads us to the value of what is the value of that component we're trying to control. So if you look down here at the first example of this, you can see that we're looking at our command here is dial tone, so this is what sound should be played for the dial tone of the phone. Then we have equals, and then it's saying this is the file we want to play, dt.wave. If you look over here at our audio files, you can see that that one is one of the ones we have loaded onto our card. Couple other notes here at the top. The max config file length is 100 characters, and there's an example here of that. So any of these lines should not exceed 100 characters long. And this last comment here is just letting you know that you can put a pound sign in front of any line you don't want to be read into the settings. That's called commenting. So any of these lines you see that are preceded by a pound sign are just here as notes for us to read so we can understand what's going on. The basically script in the player will ignore anything that's tagged with this pound sign before it. So we really, for the actual function of the phone prop, just need to look at these lines which do not have pound in front of them. Alright, so let's take a look at the first one. You can see we have the commented line here, dial tone wave file. So this tells us that this first command is for our dial tone. We already mentioned that the field here is dial tone, and then equals, and then we just point it to the wave file we want to use. One quick note about the audio files: they do need to be WAV files, and they also need to be exported at a sampling rate of 22 kilohertz. They need to be 8-bit, and they need to be mono. So most of your common audio editing software will be able to export with those settings, and there is also a link in the manual, and we'll put it on the product page as well, to where you can go to use a converter, which I have tested, and it seems to work to convert MP3 files to WAV files with those proper parameters. So just a note, check the manual. If you're not having success with the device playing your audio, it's probably because you don't have the proper file format or the sample rate, or it's a stereo file, something like that. So again, if you look back here at our command line, we have dial tone equals, and it's calling out for dt.wave, which is our dial tone file here, which we can open up. So that's our dial tone file. So anytime the phone is picked up, it will go ahead and play this dial tone file and have a realistic dial tone. All right, next up we have the automatic ring mode style, and we have a few valid values here for that. We can use US, UK, or manual. And what this is doing is it's basically setting the style of ring that will occur when you hold down that input on the button attached to your ring input on the controller. So the options are US, UK, and manual. So the US style is ring, pause, ring, pause. The UK style is ring, ring, pause, ring, ring, pause. And the manual style will just reflect whatever you do with the input. So it'll just match the input signal. When the input is on, it will be ringing. When it's off, it will be not ringing. We've chosen here for our auto ring style to be US because we are in the US. All right, our next selection here is ring pickup audio, and you can see the comment here tells us what that is. It's audio to play if someone picks up the phone while it is ringing. So that's one cool feature of this prop, is if the ring input's being triggered and somebody picks up the phone while it's ringing, it can play a specific audio file. So we've chosen the file time.wave, so we can go over here and find that on our SD card and play it.
At the third stroke, the time sponsored by Accurist will be 10 o'clock precisely.
All right, so that's the file that will play if somebody picks up while the phone is ringing. Again, you can replace this with any of your own audio files. So if you wanted to have a very specific clue that is only given to the players if they pick up while the phone is ringing via that manual ring input on the controller, then you can place that here, and that can be used if they're really stuck or something like that. All right, next we move down to the failure settings here. So what this tells us is how many digits can a person enter that are not correct before the phone plays a fail audio file. So we have that currently set to 10. So if somebody enters 10 random digits, it's going to say, oh, you messed up, and it's going to play the file that we point to here. So fail after equals 10. And fail audio equals gst.wave. Again, we can go over to our SD card here, find that file, and preview it.
Or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again.
So that's just another element that sort of adds to the immersion of this prop. If you actually dial a sequence of numbers that's not correct, just like with a real phone, you're going to get that error message that the call cannot be completed as dialed. All right, next you have our unlock mode setting, and this is basically how we want the relay to function. You have two choices. You have either immediate or delayed, and the comments here kind of tell you what each is. So immediate will switch the relay as soon as you have entered the successful sequence. So as soon as they enter that one key sequence that we've set as our main success sequence, it's going to pop the mag lock right away, or activate whatever else you have attached to that relay. Delayed will wait until the audio file finishes playing to switch the relay. So if you really want to make sure the players are listening to your full audio recording, maybe there's another clue in there that tells them something that they really need to know. You want to make sure to have that set. So we currently have the unlock mode. Unlock mode here equals delayed, so that the players have to wait for the audio file to play before the relay switches, which opens the mag lock that we have attached. All right, so the next option we have here is the reset sequence setting. You can see here that we have reset sequence equals, and then we've chosen the digits 01 repeated 4 times, so 01, 01, 01, 01. One key thing, which has been commented here, is to make sure that this reset sequence is shorter than whatever you've set here. If we had a 11-digit sequence here, the prop would fail before we got all the way to the reset sequence, meaning that you could never reset the prop. So you just want to make sure that this sequence never exceeds your fail setting. So you can type in whatever you want here. We'll just leave it at its default for now. And this is basically the code that your techs or your employees will use to come in and reset the prop if it needs to get reset after each attempt. All right, now we get to the different success sequences that we've programmed into the prop. And the first one here is the key. So as you can see, there's a comment here, first sequence will trigger unlocking of the output relay. So only one of these sequences triggers the relay, and it's this first sequence here. So whatever you put here really should be your final number. Whatever you want the players to find and enter to basically solve the puzzle, to get their final message and open the attached mag lock or activate the attached light, whatever you have connected to your relay. So for our main sequence, our final solution sequence we have here, you can see the command sequence equals, and then we have the number that you type in, which is currently 691-26912. And then we have audio equals, and it points to the audio file that should play, which is, if we go over here, our message3.wave.
It looks like you will have to count the chain links and enter it into the keypad to unlock the passageway. Be sure to check the handcuffs for the correct order.
All right, so that is sort of our final clue and our final input here, which would then unlock the attached magnetic lock in the configuration that we've chosen. Now, any of these other sequences, and we can add as many as we want, but there's a comment here letting you know these are just audio. They don't activate the relay, they don't control anything. They're just going to play audio associated with whatever you enter. So again, you can have as many of these as you want, and they basically have this format. You'll see the field sequence here, and then equals, and then a number. So for instance, this one is 7890, and the audio for that sequence is message2.wave, which we can find here in preview.
Take a closer look at those chains and handcuffs. They must be there for a reason.
So again, this one is just sort of another miscellaneous clue. The idea being that maybe players in the room have to find these different numbers in a certain order and put them in. Each one gets them closer and closer to solving some big puzzle. So our next sequence here, again, you can just see we've spaced down. We have sequence equals 804-512-3245, and that will play our VM.wave. So you see here audio equals VM.wave, and we can find that in our list here and preview that.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. 804-512-3245 is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
All right, so that is sort of just a little Easter egg, and a few of those are like that. We've just put these in as fun little throwaway things that you can have in your room. So if the players find a number and dial it, it doesn't necessarily have to be a clue. It can be some kind of fun little audio Easter egg. Now you notice this one here has an additional command under it. It has this should loop equals true command. And what that is that will basically tell the controller that when the players dial in this number, it should continue to loop this audio file as long as they have the handset held up. So it'll just keep playing over and over in a loop, and if they hang up, it'll stop. These other ones that do not have that don't have that should loop equals true, will actually just stop playing after one time through. So if you want your audio to continue looping over and over again, as long as the players keep the handset off the cradle, then you want to add this should loop equals true command right underneath your sequence commands here. All right, and then we have our first message here being played by the sequence 987-987-9876. So that's our message 1 here.
There looks to be a type of passageway between the cells. There must be some way to open it.
So again, just another clue kind of in our sequence of clues, our message 1, message 2, and message 3 sequence. This maybe would be the first one that the players received. And then we have another little Easter egg we've added in here. So sequence equals 911, we'll play the audio 911.wave here.
911 is not a working number for your area. For emergencies, hang up a moment and dial your operator.
All right, so yeah, that's again just another Easter egg for a very commonly used number. So it's fun to put these in for players if they just want to try like 411, 911, 311, a lot of these common things. It's kind of fun to put little audio Easter eggs in. It builds the immersion of the effect. So what if you wanted to add some audio or a new sequence to the effect here? Well, all you do is click into your text document here. I'm using Notepad, so I've opened our puzzle.cfg in Notepad here. I'm just going to space down to a blank area. I'm going to type sequence equals, and let's say the sequence we want to use is 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to hit return. I'm going to type audio equals, and we're going to select a new audio file. So I actually have one here. I have this audio maze.wave that we can take and drop onto our micro SD card. You'll see it come over there. And we can now have this audio play when someone enters the sequence 1, 2, 3. And to do that, all we do is come down to where we've typed audio equals and type the name of the file, including the file extension. So we just type maze.wav and hit return. And that's it. So we've easily added a sequence here, a sequence of 1, 2, 3, which will play our audio maze.wave, which is this.
You are in a maze of twisty little menus, all alike.
So that's how simple it is to add new sequences and new audio. Again, remember, these are all just audio. Only this first sequence here will do anything as far as triggering the relay. But you can add as many of these as you want to have additional clues, additional fun little Easter eggs, little effects that your players can experience that help build the immersion of your escape room. All right, once we're done, we can just go File and Save. That'll save our changes, and we can close our text editor here. And then we can go ahead and right-click and eject our micro SD card from the PC. Once it's ejected, we can go ahead and remove it, bring it back over to the prop, install it, and check out our changes. All right, we have our micro SD card here from the PC. I'm going to go ahead and insert that into the controller. And now our controller will be updated with the settings that we programmed earlier. I've switched to the red phone for this final part of our demonstration, so we can go ahead and pick that up. And if you remember earlier when I was in that config file, I added the number 1, 2, 3 as one of our new solutions. So let's go ahead and just test that. I can just dial 1, 2, 3.
You are in a maze of twisty little menus, all alike.
And it plays our message. So that's how easy it is to add new sequences and new sounds. We can dial some of the other fun little Easter eggs we put in, like 911.
911 is not a working number for your area. For emergencies, hang up a moment and dial your operator.
And of course, we can dial our success sequence again. So that's 6912, 6912.
It looks like you will have to count the chain links and enter it into the keypad to unlock the passageway. Be sure to check the handcuffs for the correct order.
All right, so again, you heard our message play. Our magnetic lock has unlocked. We can demonstrate now how to reset the unit. So we'll just hang up, pick the phone up again, and we will dial in our reset code, which is 01010101. You can hear the lock shut there. The prop is now reset, ready to be used again. All right, so that is a look at the new Faux Phone escape room prop. We are super excited about this. It is beyond anything else available on the market as far as how customizable it is, how easy it is, the quality it's built with, and of course the ability to use any touch-tone phone really makes it a must-have for any escape room. If you have any questions, of course, leave a comment on this video or send us an email at sales@frightbox.com. Thanks.